Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Blake? What? Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Aaron.
Aaron is here. Welcome back, everybody, for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Okay, we have our weekly Scientology protest in downtown Clearwater this evening, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., 215 South Fort Harrison Avenue, outside of Scientology's largest building in the world, on their largest base in the world. We've been doing this protest every single week for almost 2 years now. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because we have that protest tonight is why I actually went and got a restraining order against my stalker who appeared last week, Whitney Blair Pettrery. If Whitney Blair Pettrery shows up to the protest tonight, she will be served by either the Clearwater Police or Pinellas County Sheriff's with a protection order. And so we would rather she did not show up. But if she did, that is what will happen. So either outcome is going to be just fine. The thumbnail of this video is a few photos of Whitney Blair Pettrery. I went downtown. I don't even mind sharing you guys the case number. So I went downtown to the Clearwater Police after speaking with a Clearwater police officer today, and filed basically a stalking report, which they may write up as a harassment report, but the details of the report were such that I could then go over to the courthouse, use that report number, request a protection order. I filled out all that paperwork. All that paperwork gets sent over to the judge, and then the judge approves it and sends it back to me. I'm told I will have the approval in my inbox by latest 4:30 p.m. tonight, which is perfect because the protest doesn't start until 5:30 p.m. Case number with the Clearwater Police is CW251488096. The details of what Whitney did and said when she showed up at the protest yesterday, combined with details I have learned this week about Whitney's past and her present from people close to her in her life, are such that Whitney is a deeply troubled, mentally ill, unstable, unpredictable, volatile person with a history of traumatic brain injury and mental illness. So an entire disaster stew, if you will. For what it's worth, Whitney's mother was under the impression that Whitney was living in London. Whitney is actually living out of hotels in the Clearwater, Tampa Bay area. About 2 years ago, Whitney had a relapse because she's a recovering alcoholic. Whitney had a relapse, was driving drunk, got into a serious car accident where she suffered a traumatic brain injury. I'm told was pronounced dead, had to be revived. And up until today has one of those cars where you have to blow into a breathalyzer in order for the car to turn on. Okay, so you have that. She has a history of institutionalization and being on antipsychotics. And I do not believe she is currently on those antipsychotics, partly because Whitney lives in a delusional fantasy world where she is a Scientologist. And I want to get into a little bit of details about this, because if I truly believed that Whitney was a Scientologist in good standing, living in Clearwater, Florida, well, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to qualify it. What I was going to say is that if that's who I believed Whitney was, I wouldn't bother filing a restraining order or requesting a restraining order. And to explain that, I would say, because a Scientologist in good standing living in Clearwater, Florida would never, especially one who is openly proclaiming to be a Scientologist, would never be allowed by Scientology to threaten me in this way, stalk me and harass me in this way, because Scientology doesn't want that kind of attention. They don't want that smoke. They don't want the heat. You guys have seen that in all of our protesting we've been doing in downtown Clearwater for the last 2 years. Scientology really goes out of its way to keep its members away from us to the degree that they can. Scientology does not want its members out there interacting with protesters, saying stuff, provoking, instigating. They don't want that. That used to be what they wanted 10, 20 years ago. That used to be what they did. That used to be what they could get away with. They can't get away with it anymore, which is why they don't want their members doing that anymore. If Whitney was actually a Scientologist, Scientology would rein her in, and I wouldn't have these concerns about Whitney. But the other thing is, if Whitney was really a Scientologist, she wouldn't actually be doing these things. Do you see what I mean? So it's a little bit now. So I guess what I'm saying is, if Whitney really was a Scientologist, and I knew she was, and I believed she was, and she was still behaving this way, then yes, I would still file a restraining order. It's the fact that I have come through all the information that's been provided to me. I have come to the conclusion that Whitney is living in a delusional world where she is a Scientologist and is trying to do things that she thinks will make Scientology happy with her. Scientology doesn't consider Whitney to be a Scientologist. And that is what makes her dangerous. So she showed up at the protest and was saying things like, by the way, my brother died in a car accident back in 2003 as a passenger. She started saying things to me like, your brother died, you blame Scientology, but really he shot himself in the head because he's a suppressive person just like you. And you're going to be found dead in the street just like your brother. Well, considering my brother didn't shoot himself in the head, but she's saying he did, what does it mean for her to say, found dead in the street is what Aaron's going to be, just like his brother? Are you saying someone's going to do that to me? Are you saying you're going to do that to me? Are you saying I'm going to do it to myself? Like, what does that mean? It's a little ambiguous, but it's also a completely unhinged thing to say to somebody. She also claimed to be in touch with family members of mine. She hasn't been. That's a lie. But she's claiming to be. Strange. By the way, I was actually quite pleased with how easy and fast the process was. First of all, thank you to the Clearwater Police for taking this information seriously and treating it appropriately and making me feel like you've treated it appropriately. I was very pleased with how easy and fast this process was. If I knew how easy and fast this process was, I would have gotten a restraining order and a protection order against someone else who over the last 12 to 18 months, particularly previously, not at the very present, was making physical threats against me, was constantly messaging me, was threatening to show up at my house in the middle of the night, was constantly doing videos about me, about Jenna Miscavige, about my children, about my children's mother, and making credible threats. I've never gone through this process. I had absolutely no confidence whatsoever that I would be treated with respect and dignity during a process if I had pursued this process with another individual. And so, I mean, this was quite a breath of fresh air, you know, how this went down. So, you know, you have a person who lives in Salt Lake City, Utah, at least according to her driver's license, lives in this completely delusional reality where for the last 5 years, she has been an active member of the Church of Scientology, steadily moving up the ranks, moving up the bridge. She claims to have attested to the state of clear. She claims to have signed a billion-year contract. She claims that Scientology was sending her from Utah to London so she could move up to the higher levels. And, you know, the people in Whitney's life who have privately contacted me in confidence to share some of this information with me, they have shared with me as completely as they can the stuff about Scientology Whitney has shared with them over the last 5 years. And it is that information that caused me to explain to those people, I said, I got to tell you, this stuff that Whitney is saying about her Scientology involvement is completely made up. Like the way she's describing this, that is not how it works. It sounds like She spent the last 4 or 5 years doing pretty much every introductory and online extension course you can do in Scientology. It also sounds like she's been watching all the videos from ex-Scientologists since 2020, and so has sort of a basic understanding of the language, a basic understanding of the courses, some basic understanding of how the bridge works and how the different levels of organizations works. And so she lives in this delusional reality where she's been telling everyone in her life for the last 4 or 5 years that she's a Scientologist and that she's working for them and that she's doing this assignment, and Scientology sending her to California, and Scientology sending her to New York, and Scientology sending her to Florida, and Scientology sending her to the UK. Meanwhile, I had someone that I trust and who is also trusted in the world of Scientology contact the Church of Scientology of Salt Lake City yesterday and make a credible request to a credible person there for any information concerning Whitney Blair Pettry's history in Scientology in Salt Lake City. They've never heard of her. Whitney has been telling her friends and family that she's been active in Scientology in Salt Lake City, where there is only one Scientology organization in all of Utah. It's in Salt Lake. That she's been active in Scientology in Salt Lake City for the last 5 years and attested to the state of clear. And so the org sent her to other orgs to do higher levels. Salt Lake City ain't never heard of nobody named Whitney Blair Pettry. Okay, so that's enough about Whitney. If Whitney shows up to the protest tonight, she will be served with a restraining order. And yeah, it won't be good for her. We'd much rather she just didn't show up and stopped showing up and disappeared. That would be better for everybody. Let's see what else. Yeah, guys. Hey, so we got a protest tonight. It's going to be a blast. If you're anywhere in the Tampa Bay area and you want to come out and say hi, you want to come out and hold a sign, just want to come out and drive by and honk, maybe join us for a slice of pizza, please come out and join us. I want to thank everyone who has supported the SPTV Foundation over the last week. We made our fundraising target. Thank you to all of you. It really is, in the last video I did, I told you guys how absolutely special it is to have this community, this platform, all you viewers, all you guys who've supported the foundation, and how amazing it is that all I have to do is come on here, do a video, let you guys know we're helping people, let you guys know we need help, and you guys are there. It's amazing. And the fact that I didn't even have to do a standalone video. I didn't even have to do a standalone video talking about the people the SPTV Foundation was helping. We didn't even have to do a panel video. I know you guys love it, and that's fun, and we're going to do those in the future. But the fact that all I had to do was come on for 4 days in a row and mention in videos that we're helping 4 people leaving Scientology right now, and we could use some support. And we had the second, this was our second highest fundraising month ever since we started the foundation. And the first month was the first month that we launched. And we haven't even done a fundraising video since then. So anyway, absolutely amazing. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Feel free to keep donating, of course, because any donations are just going to go towards all the other people we're helping in the future. But we made our fundraising target that we had set, and you guys are awesome. So thank you so much. Let's see. That's it for right now. I got another video I'm going to squeeze in before the protest starts. So stay tuned for that, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, wait. Starred comments. My bad. Starred comments. George is back. Okay. Okay. Lydia Von Stretchclaw. Burn some sage to rid Clearwater of this psycho. Jojo, gosh, it will be a sit on the edge of your seat. It will be a sit in the edge of your seats tonight stream, guys. Absolutely. Brave Shoe, otherwise known as Braves Ho. Stay safe out there tonight. Thank you so much. Deanna D, welcome as a new channel member. I skipped one. Whitney, check into rehab. It will be worth it. Yes, actually, Whitney has been to rehab. Constance, she actually threatened you last week. You know, I actually forgot about that. I actually forgot about that direct threat. I didn't even put that in my request for the protection order. She actually did say, and it's when she claimed I had like slightly bumped her. She did say, I will shoot you. She said, I will shoot you. A little out of proportion to getting bumped by a gimbal while on a live stream. Okay, Constance June says, traumatic brain injuries can change a person's behavior and they do things they would not have done before. So sad. Arkansas Flamingo, glad you're doing this, Aaron. Prayers are on the way for all the protesters tonight for safety. Thank you. Xenu Golf Club, restraining order is fine, but enforcing it is hard if the cops don't show up. I can tell you, I have had a series of conversations with the Clearwater Police over the last 2 or 3 days about the police not having shown up to our protest. The last couple times we have called the police. I would expect that to go much differently tonight for what that's worth. Northern Girl, the things she was saying were disgusting. Renee L, that is a veiled threat. Absolutely. Arkansas Flamingo, she is straight up nuts. Jojo, it's worrying after the event that happened in your country. Yes, absolutely. Abigail, so good to see you, Abigail. I wonder if the video Aaron did recently, effectively attacking the Clearwater Police, had something to do with their cooperation today. It's funny that you mentioned that because I would say the exact opposite. 2 police, I just walked into the station and said, I'm here to file a stalking report. And 2 police officers showed up. One officer I recognized, and he recognized me, and he clearly knew who I was. But it was the other officer he showed up with, who was sort of the officer in charge, clearly had absolutely no idea who I was or anything about the channel or anything about the videos or the protests or anything. And that was actually a little refreshing. It was also refreshing to be taken seriously by him, even though he had no idea who I was. So, yeah, good. There you go. Okay. William Madden, why do I have a feeling that she will show up at the protest tonight? I got to tell you, it's actually one of the reasons I'm doing this video is because I would much, much, much rather she did not show up tonight. Yes, there's going to be a lot more people there tonight than there were last week. And, I want Whitney to know. That's why I'm doing this video, so that she knows if you show up, you will be served with a restraining order by a Clearwater police officer or a sheriff. So you would be better off just not showing up. And Up Mayo says the restraining order is a good idea. Whitney needs help. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right